But welcome to the team call. Share your wins. You know, that's our new tradition. I want to hear a win from the week. Please give us some inspiration, some positivity over in the chats. Okay, guys, so tonight I want to kind of blow through these things, not like spend a whole lot of time, because this is the end of the month and I know a lot of you are really hustling towards some goals. So the last thing we need to be doing is, you know, running our mouths and crafting posts. We need to be in conversations and massive follow-up mode. I want to give you some fun stuff that I've learned. Chalene Johnson has been doing this big push to sell for her marketing impact academy. So she always puts out a bunch of free training and a bunch of free stuff as she promotes that. And I actually opted into it. So I took down a lot of notes, and then I'm just sharing some stuff that I do and know. And I even got smart enough to know how to screen share my phone. So I thought that would be fun to actually see, you know, some of these things at work. And I'm sure some of you guys have things to share that I don't know so I, would love to have you chime in. But we're talking social media, specifically Instagram hacks, maybe a little bit of just some of this is just in general stuff for social media, but I'm looking at IG hacks primarily. So I forgot to welcome anybody here there's their first call. So welcome. If this is your first team call, we're glad you're here. So let me preface this by saying social media does not replace prospecting. It's really fun and exciting to learn social media. Well, I think it is. I'm kind of a nerd. I've become, I've really enjoyed being a student of social media and figuring out what works. So I find it fun. I think a lot of people do. And it's easy to show up it's kind of easy to show up for these kind of trainings, I think. I think it's just because it's enjoyable to learn. But if you really feel like you need help in your business, showing up on the live power hours that we have is going to be way more beneficial, because it doesn't matter how awesome your system is. If you're not prospecting, if you're not making the invitations, if you're not talking to people, it doesn't matter how amazing your social media is. I saw, I think Sarah Whiteside was sharing a screenshot of somebody's Instagram account, and their bio said, and they were somebody who's has whatever, tens of thousands of followers or hundreds of, I can't remember, it was a lot. But it made me laugh because their bio said, being popular on Instagram is like being rich in Monopoly money. And it made me laugh because that's true. Collecting followers for followers' sake, getting lots of likes does not mean you're building a business. We might think that someone's crushing it because they have a huge following. Does not mean they're monetizing. There are top 10 coaches who have fewer followers and engagement than I do. So these are people who get it. They get that this comes down to conversation. So I just need to preface that, even though we kind of know that, we need that reminder. I promise you what's holding you back is probably not your social media. I mean, it will definitely help you. But if the vitals are not in place, if that is not something, and sorry, you have to have this horse beat again and again. But I just feel like I get people who say, I just don't feel like I'm having any luck with my free groups or my challenge groups. I'm well, I put up a post. I'm like, yeah, that's only part of it. And it's not even the most important part. So we've got to be having conversations. But some of these things I'm going to share will make these conversations easier. Some really fun hacks that I learned that I think will be fun to help get some conversations started, help you to warm up people that you're in conversations with, so that invitation becomes easier, becomes more appropriate, becomes more of a natural next step. Let me get some of these lines muted. Okay. So a lot of this is going to be not really like a cohesive flow. It's just going to be some random hacks and stuff. Okay. So it might seem a little bit like not really like flowing into like 3 categories or like 10 top posts or, you know what I mean? So I hope you have something to write on and just jot some of these things down. I encourage you to ask any questions, please. I've been doing this so long on social media that sometimes I can take for granted that someone doesn't know something on Instagram. I try to think through to when I wasn't super savvy on social media. But there might be something that I make an assumption about. So don't feel bad if you don't get it. Don't feel bad if you're like, I have no idea what she's talking about. That word does not even exist in my vocabulary. If there's something, like, it's totally fine. All of us were newbies at this at one time, and I might just forget, because this is my world and it has been for 5.5 years. So please, I want to hear these questions. The more I know that people don't know, the better coach I can be to the entire team. So there's something that comes up that you're like, that just does not make any sense. So I have notes over here, which is why my eyes will be darting over there. Okay, so and even Chalene, when she's talking about this, I mean, she was, pretty clear on, like, it doesn't matter, like, please do not, she's like telling people, too many people spend way too much time on social media, like trying to build a business, and they're exhausted, and they feel like they're building their following, but they're not actually like really growing their business, or it's not worth, like, what their, what the return isn't worth the time. And she says, that is not necessary. Like, we can, if we're getting our priorities in line, that's not the reality that it has to be. And just growing it isn't going to make, people aren't just going to drop in your inbox. It's occasional that happens. So, okay. And again, this is another one that we've heard a lot, but I just want to remind everybody, or for newer coaches who maybe haven't heard this message 10 times, like a lot of you, one of the things that's really important before you even get into some of these things is understanding who you're talking to. And we have heard it called having an avatar, or your niche, your ideal client. I know Chalene calls it your lifer, her lifer. If you're not really sure who that person is yet, that's okay. But just a reminder to, and I think mine's changed and evolved as I've changed and evolved. So that's okay too. But it's just a reminder that it's really important, number one, to know who you're speaking to, and that you're not speaking to everybody, and that this is going to be, you're going to be thinking about the kind of person that you're speaking to. What is she going to think is funny? What is she going to want to engage with? So know who your avatar is, or your lifer, or begin to get a sense of the things that they would enjoy or be, into hearing. And she made this clear again. And you should even annoy people. Like, you should be so you that you're not someone's cup of tea, and that they're like, oh my gosh, is she still talking? Like, that's okay. That means you are getting deep into your audience. Like, I'm sure people think I'm annoying. I'm totally sure. But that's okay, because a lot of people don't. And those are people that I want to work with. So, all right. Here's the best news that I heard when we got started. I love that, Chris. So yours has definitely evolved. So this was the best news. That likes are, she says, completely irrelevant. It's a little hard for me to accept, but I'm going to trust her, and we're going to go with it. Likes are completely irrelevant. That sounds like a real big absolute to me. But what she's saying is, right now, when you have on Instagram, and you have IGTV, you have stories, you have a live, you have your posts, you have everything. Your audience is split up into so many different places that just because you're not getting lots of likes does not mean that you're not relevant. So I know so many of us judge how we're doing based on our likes. It's a tool to look at, but this should be an encouragement to you. I know personally, the algorithms look like my views are down on my posts, like I'm getting fewer likes, and I guess that was sort of discouraging. But I wasn't having any harder time, like, necessarily building or anything. But it was like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And she was just saying, that's just the way that it is right now. They're irrelevant right now. So let's stop worrying about so much about likes right now. Your posts are turning more into blog style posts. Because stories, 70% is where it's at. Like, if you're not using stories, this right now, culturally, it's like it has to happen. Like, this has to be a thing that you get more and more comfortable with. And we're going to talk more about stories and what kind of stories that people want to see. So, and she said that this has been stuff that people from Instagram have been telling her, and stuff that they've been putting into practice. They did a whole trial. For 4 months, they put a lot of things into practice to learn and kind of do split tests, and she actually has some connections from Instagram that are giving them information on the algorithms and why they're shifting in which direction. So which makes sense why it's been noticed that like if you do fewer posts, it's okay, because people are looking at those more like blog type posts, more like informational, not as the more like softer value. So she also was saying it's totally okay to not be super aesthetic. And so if that's something that's holding you back, I know that I kind of feel like I try to get like more aesthetic, and it's just not my thing. I'm not really good at it. I don't feel like I want to spend that time worrying about it. So if that's something that freaks you out, is like, oh my gosh, I've got all these beautiful feeds, how could I ever? I don't know about you, but when I cross those feeds personally, I don't feel like I want to engage with them. Even some coaches, top coaches who are better at this, I'm just like, that's really cool, but I just don't feel like I could ever be like her. So I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like, it doesn't give me confidence. And so I think I think my goal personally is not to be like super fancy and to be like popular and have people think I'm awesome. Is for them to come past my feed and be like, she's just kind of normal. She's kind of a normal girl. Looks like she's a normal girl who's, pushed herself and grown, and that's awesome. And she's not that different from me. That's what ultimately we want people to feel when they come to our feed. So, trying to aim for that super awesome aesthetic is, yes, we want to be visually pleasing. Yes, we don't want to throw up crap. Yes, we don't want to we want to take into consideration that people do have some kind of naturally, eyes do want to latch onto something that has some kind of flow. But it's not necessary to get super fancy. Here are the things that are working really well. Okay. This was news to me. A lot of you knew this because I've shared this with some small select groups who were into this stuff. But carousel posts are really a big one right now. That is because what happens is it's something that people can touch and swipe. And when someone engages with your content in that way, it tells Instagram, this is a relationship we want to keep up. So that is the name of the game, is creating interactions that people that Instagram continues to put these people in front of you, you in front of these people. So this helps to expedite some of these relationships that you're starting as you're adding people, and you may start to engage with them. They might like a post here and there. So we want to become more relevant to them. We want to become them to get to know us. And so there are some certain things we want to think about carousel posts. I think Sarah made a joke. She's like, oh gosh, it's already hard enough to get one picture pretty. Now I got to get 5. If you think about it, just the first one has to be decently attractive. You know what I mean? The other few don't necessarily, right? So think about it this way. Carousel posts. Awesome. I'm so glad you asked, Teresa, because now I get to show off my new skill. Okay. Let me open it. All right. So a carousel post. Oh, now it's not going to work, isn't it? Oh, there she is. Look at it. All right. You see you can see my phone screen? Yes. Can I get some nods? Because I only have a few squares of heads showing, so I don't know. I see a nod, so we're good. Okay. So carousel post would be right here. Here's a good example. That would be, so if you see that right there where my I am promoting my Rise and Shine post, my Rise and Shine group. So it's an attractive photo. It's a stock photo, which I don't do often, but it's a stock photo. And what I did was, because nobody really likes to see lots of before and after photos on a feed, I put some in here. I put some before after photos so people could swipe. I think these are some testimonials. I mean, these aren't attractive posts to put on a Instagram post, but this, oh, and look at this. This is something else I wanted to show you. Screen recording. We'll come back to that. So if you guys remember or saw that I shared my new 28-day challenge journal, I basically pulled up that PDF on my phone, clicked the screen recording button, and scrolled up on it, scrolled through that so people could peek at it, and then turn my screen recording off and save that. And that visual people were into. I put that visual into my Insta stories, and I asked on a poll who would like to try my next challenge. I got some people responding. How else have I used it? I've also used screen recording to scroll through my challenge groups to show people the engagement that's happening. You know, there's some real fun engagement, real fun, you know, commentary between challengers or hitting it off, you know, when you see some of that fun stuff going on. Like, I want to highlight how awesome it is to be a part of these groups. I want them to see why they want to be, because this is this is where like the fun and the action happens. So that's a great way to use screen recording. Okay. I'm gonna get off this share. Let me see if I have another option. See, this was one way I used it. This was before I knew this was the thing to do. So I haven't actually, that was like the first one I did with my new knowledge. But this is like, I had a long video. Y'all haven't seen this, but I had a long video. It was more than a minute. So I used, and you know, you can only have a video that's a minute in length on Instagram. So I used Cut Story, and then I, you know, yeah, people like relatable. That's one of the tips later on. So again, this was a great way to share like an event. If you go to an event or something, there's lots of fun photos from that night. You're like, oh, I don't know which is the best one. This was a really nice night, or this was a like summit stuff. You know, this is great when you know you want to share a lot, and maybe you share it in your stories too, but you know you want to have a post too. This is a way to put, see, I was able to capture more of the evening with that post. See how much more into my life and into my story and into like what I have to share that I can get when I use a carousel. And you have 10. You have 10 spots that can be video and image. So that's what's working. That's one of the things that's working, because it creates an engagement. When someone decides to stop and swipe on your photo, that means, hey, she likes this person. We want to keep them connected. Now, do you see this little bookmark thing right here? That little, if you look under the promote button, there's a little shape. That's a bookmark. Okay, this is something, I hope you're writing this stuff down. I'm just like gonna vomit what I know, and it may not seem to flow. Let me check the chat before I move on. Okay, how do you screen record from your phone? Okay, I can go ahead and do that now. It's on my list, but while we're here, might as well. Do you get to see who sees your carousel? No, Teresa, I mean, I don't guess you do. I don't think you do necessarily. I mean, you'll see who likes the post, but I guess you don't know, know who swiped. Okay, I don't know if it's only for the iPhone 7. It might be. So let me just show you how to get to it from my phone. I have an X, but I had a 7 before, and you could do on the 7. So it's from the control panel. You see down here on the bottom? Oh, it's not gonna let me do it. It's not gonna let me screen record while I'm attached to the computer. But if you look at that circle with the circle around it, that's screen recording in the lower left. Now, if it's not on your control panel right here, you might still be able to find it if you go to settings, and where is it? Control center. You can customize controls, and you see I have it selected here. If it's not selected, like I guess I could, yeah, so it's selected, but before I didn't have it selected, so I didn't know that I had it. So check your settings to see if you have it. Guys, there's always some kind of hack. These are the things that if I were you and I had an Android or something else and I couldn't find it, I'd be like, I'm gonna Google that. I'm sure someone's figured it out. Like, Google it. That's what I do. If I see somebody's done something, I'll figure it out by researching. So check out that if you don't have that option. Okay, good question. And if anybody here can help others who are like, oh, I have an Android and that works, here's how you do it. Please, 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 please help your friends out here. See, Lisa figured it out on YouTube. It's amazing what you can learn when you just type something into a search engine. Okay, let's see I'm gonna unsave, I think, or did I want to do a carousel again? No, I think we got the point, right? I think we did on this. I want to blow through some of these. All right, good. Okay, so we've already said that Insta stories are really where most people are finding the most traction. That's where businesses are building. Let's go into the top. Oops, just dropped something. The top posts, the few different posts that you want to have in your Insta stories. People are like, what do I post? What do I put in there? Well, anything goes. Really, it's really, there's a lot of room for error and just figuring this part out, because it's 15 seconds. You can delete it if it doesn't seem to, like, people seem to stop on that. But okay, she has a little acronym she calls REDIC, REDIC, because you know Shalene is. She thinks she's all cutesy, and she's like, it's so easy. It's like REDIC, easy. You know, that's Shalene. That's why we love her. She makes it work. So write it down. Those 5 letters. REDIC. Relatable. So she says you want to have at least 5 stories in a day, at least. I think that's kind of a minimum. And these 5 things, it doesn't have to be 5 different posts. Some of these things can overlap. Some of these can kind of encompass 2 of these words. So relatable. You want to have something in your stories that show that you're relatable. You know, something that, you know, your kid's having a tantrum, whatever, that kind of thing. E, educate/entertain, or what does she write down? If anyone watched that video, and they have enlighten. So enlighten, educate, entertain. This can be like food photos. This can be like your workout stuff. This can be where you're able to provide, I think this is more like value. This is what I think of like real value. Let me think. Well, I'm going to go into someone's Insta stories today and kind of give you some, kind of show you some of these things. So D, dialogue in the DMs. She says you need to be creating dialogue in the DMs, which means you need to be asking for interaction. You need to be asking for someone to DM you. You need to be creating conversations where it's like, you want this recipe? Send me a DM. You want to create dialogue in the DMs. This is what she really pressed hard on this, guys. If you want more eyeballs, if you want more conversations, if you want more people to be ready for you to like go for the invitation, you've got to create more dialogue in DMs. Whether they're talking to you, you're talking to them. Usually it's going to be you talking to them. Usually you're going to be the person to go get it. You've got to start that. You've got to initiate generally. But if you can, in your stories, create where they come to you, that's great, right? So ask for it. Now she's shared some, I'm going to go into some of the ways, the hacks to get there. But I just want to make sure this is very clear. Like, you've got to get in people's DMs. You've got to start. That's where, this is when people are going to be seeing your stuff. This is when your story is going to be next in line for them to see. This is when they're going to see more of your stuff, when there's more engagement, whether it's in your posts and everywhere else, but DMs is like king right now. Okay. I was interaction. So this means using the features like the polls, the sliders, the questions, all those different features. Not everybody has all features rolled out to them, but whatever you have, creating interaction. Again, you've created, when somebody taps something, and she talks about this, and we all know this to be true, we like to play. We like immediate gratification. Like if someone puts a little poll in front of me and they get to tap and I get like an immediate like reaction, you know what I mean? We like that. We need that. We have like dopamine, like what's the word, synapses, responses, I don't know, but it's like that trigger, like it does something in our brain. So create that. The more you create that, the more that person becomes, it creates this like web, this connective tissue. So interaction, create interaction, ask for them to interact with you in different ways. I mean, this even goes for like linking in your bio. So if you're posting something, and this does not have to be join my Facebook group or your event. This can be like, oh, this book is so awesome that I'm reading. If you want it, there's an easy link in my bio. If you go to my bio, there's like my personal development books. There's legit a Google Doc. It's not even a fancy PDF or anything like that. It's like, because I was tired of people asking like what books I read. I'm like, I'm gonna put a document. I'm gonna put my link tree, my workout playlist. Like, I mean, even if you don't think people care about your playlist, you're rocking out, you're doing a post about it, you don't think people care, be like, put it in there. Who cares? They might. Again, when you create that interaction, that's creating more connective tissue. And if you don't know Linktree, just look that up later, linktr.ee. And then C is capture email. And this is one that I think is going to be probably where most of you aren't doing this, or this is not a focus of yours. I'm definitely more there lately, but I don't make a habit of this on a daily basis. And because Shalene's really big on owning your contacts and not building your entire business on Facebook and Instagram and expecting it to like save you from, you want to have, like, what happens if Instagram or Facebook goes wrong? They're not, but the point is you don't build your house on someone else's backyard and expect that I can then get upset when they go away. So she's all about getting up in their email, and I am too. Like, I just feel like that's really good to have people's emails. So, if you're cooking something, if you have a DIY, you have something, drop your email, whatever. Okay, so let me share some of the fun ways. We're going to mess around with polls real quick. Chris says, it's hard to I always ask if they're on Facebook too, because that's where the events and groups are, but you don't really get email unless I am sending a link. But if we share value, that would be a great way to ask for it. Sure. So I think this is going to be a tougher one to make a daily practice for us, but it's just good to know and think about. And she's sharing all of this, of course, and she's repeating this, and I hope this is clear to everybody. These are ideals. We're not all going to do all this stuff. This is like, we add what we can. Like, it's not like everybody's going to do all these things. This is just fun to know what's really working and what maybe we can spend more time like doing if we're like wasting our time elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? So like, this is all meant to not like overwhelm you. Oh my gosh, look, all of a sudden I'm not doing. No. Okay, let's go into, I'm going to mess around. For those of you who have stories, I want you to open up your stories, and those of you who have polls that you've done. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to my story, and I'm going to go to the poll I did today. I don't know. See, you'll notice on mine that I have insights. You may not. That's okay. That's those little bars that are next to the numbers of eyeballs. If your Instagram is connected to a business page, you get insights. If you don't, that's okay. Like, don't worry about it at all. But that's why you'll see some different things on mine. All right. So even if you don't have like 10,000 followers, and I know everybody wants that because they can get that swipe up feature. Well, there's a new thing that's available that's even better. So we're going to go right here. Now, does everybody see on the screen this right here? This little like triangle thing? All right. I know I just asked them about like if they're a vest person or not. What a stupid question, right? But look how many people answered. Like, I legit could talk to 60 people. Maybe 30 of them are you guys, but whatever. Like, my point is, I could now start conversations. And by conversations, I legit could just say, you know what? Thanks. I'm not really I've never worn vests, but I think I might get it. I don't know. Like, anything. It does not matter, because here's what happens. I'm going to just mess around with, whoops, Carmen, because it's on our team. When I send her this message, I'm just going to say thanks, Carmen. But maybe like, what did she say? Yes or no? I can't remember now. Yes. I don't normally wear vests. but I think I'll get it. I don't know. I'll probably make something better in real time, but I don't know. Whatever. Let's just go with that. Now, this is the way it looks in her DMs. So she knows what I responded to, okay? Is that weird if I don't know you? No, you interacted on my feed. Like, that's not weird. Even if, and it'd be even better if I had more of a question to go with it. Like, if I could ask her where she gets her vests. I don't know. Even if I don't get engagement from this, ideally I would think through how I could make this more of a conversation. I have now created connections, connective tissue. I didn't ignore it. I didn't ignore that post. So do you see how that could be better than even a swipe up? Okay, here's how. Well, number one is now I'm creating connective tissue. But if I am saying, if you want to join this group, or if you want to XYZ, I'll send you the link, yes or no. So if that's what I was trying to do here, like right now I have 10,000 followers, so I do have the option to swipe up and they get a link and they can go enter into my whatever. Well, now I can just drop them a form or a link right in their DM, which is even better than them just swiping up on their own, because that's when they took the action. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm up in their business, then that's more personal. We create more connective tissue. So each and every one of you who did a poll today, there's no reason why you should not go and message every single person. Now, let's see if some ideas. Crystal asked if people liked peanut butter or almond butter. I mean, you could legit be like, I'm an almond butter person too. My favorite is blah, 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 or whatever. Or even if they chose the other things, like, really, I'm blah, blah, blah. It does not matter. You really can say just about anything. They engage with you. It's okay. Cat, dog. You know what? I was never a cat person until I got Sparkles. She changed my world. I don't know. It does not matter. But if you're engaging with another cat person, you've started a conversation. This is a way to start conversations. This is the name of the game. So these are tools that you absolutely want to be using, especially if you're somebody who really has a hard time starting conversations to begin with. Like, this is an easier way to get in an inbox because this opens up so much more. Okay, so we're gonna put more messages. So, I mean, a really good thing to do would be to do some of these lighter ones to mix up with the call to actions. You don't want to just using these features when you have something to offer. So you can do the fun, silly ones or the fun, like whatever ones. And that primes people for the call to actions. If you're one of those people who says, I don't get many people interacting on my stories or doing these things, it's going to be up to you to start interacting with more people to get more of these and more eyeballs. You've got to create this. You've got to create this. You've got to tell the algorithms what to do. And sometimes it just takes you creating that momentum to get more eyeballs coming to see your stuff. So you've got to be going through your stories and engaging, dropping DMs in people's stories. Like, seriously, even an emoji is all right sometimes if you really can't think of anything else. It starts something. What if you aren't getting, I'm seeing Sue ask that question. You're not getting any voters. So I just answered your question before I saw that. It's you want to be engaging with others. You've got to start creating that momentum and that relationship. Instagram is rewarding behavior. You know what I mean? If someone is not engaging with the features and they're just kind of they're probably going to be less likely to serve you up. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to start to create that interaction. And I mean, easy way I think to do it is to go through other people's stories. If you're searching a hashtag now, there's certain hashtag of your lifers. I know there are stories that have those hashtags. So you can even start Instagramming or DMing within stories that have been hashtagged. Okay. Here's another big one. I think I shared this with people who were on the Power Hour last week. One hashtag is more effective than multiple hashtags in a story. So pick a good one. Don't do multiple hashtags, do one currently. Pick a good one, it gets more eyeballs. Okay. Any of you, Chris did something like this recently, who have certain things that people ask about all the time? If you have something that you get a lot of questions about, do an IG live and save it to IGTV. This is a great one. I have intentions to do one. I tried to do one, 2 different ones this week, but I made them too long and it has to be under 10 minutes. So now I have to redo it. But like my Miracle Morning thing, people ask about it often. I talk about it so much. People ask about my Miracle Morning, and then I have to like repeat the same things I talk about. So if there's something like that you get a lot of questions about, like I know Chelsea, you shared so much about your mental health struggles. Like I bet you people ask you, how did you reach out for help? So I'm sure you get questions like that. Maybe Chris, they ask you about your recovery. When you're able to like do a video that you can direct people to, what a great tool. And then it serves up other videos. She does say that the more lives you do, the more interaction and engagement you get. So trying to aim to do those a couple times a week, live videos, helps you in the algorithms. Also, some other tips, repurposing content. So you can post things that you posted before. You can dig them up. I do this very frequently. I really like content that I wrote, but maybe I want a more current image. And people really don't know, even if I were to post the same thing, and I've done this, like, even if it's been the past like 4 months, people don't care if I have like something really good. I like to try to get better photos just sometimes, but repurposing content, this is just simple, silly stuff. Using the GIFs feature now in DMs. Now you can do GIFs or GIFs, whatever they are, in Instagram DMs. I know this seems silly. If you don't have a ring light, like the iPhone ring lights, you can get one for $7. Those make a really big difference when you're taking any kind of selfies or portraits, or like, it makes a big difference. It does make your photos pop in the newsfeed. I mean, like seriously, they just clip on here and they're cheap. I mean, I know some of you have the big ones like I do. Who's that in the background that has one up? Actually, Cami. You really can get some really good quality images with the ring light. I mean, the better you can get at like getting attractive photos, the better. Oh, here's a tip. I know I'm dumping a lot on you, but people ask me these things. Look, Teresa was showing her little one in the. Yeah, see, Teresa has one right there. It like has a hinge and it clips like a chip clip. So I'm sharing all these things that people ask me all the time, like, how'd you do that? So if it sounds like I'm just pummeling you with information, you can just take what you want and leave some of it. Okay, I'm gonna share this. I've shared this with some people, but where is it? Bring your shared window to the front. Oh, okay. All right. So I, for the longest time, was taking my photos and then editing them in a different app. I didn't recognize that you could actually edit from the photo app, the photo app on your phone. So let me just take a good one. Like I took pictures of myself. Yeah, see how many selfies I take just to get a good one? That's how it works. That's how it goes. So let's just say I do try to keep a similar filter because I do think that makes a difference in the Instagram feed. I'm liking like that cool look, you'll see. Now, I don't know if you guys mess around with this. You can, there's lots of, you may already know that you can do stuff in there. It took me a while to figure this stuff out, so that's why I don't think you're dumb. I just know that I was. So, but here's what is new for me, and maybe this is not news to you, but that little circle with the 3 dots at the bottom, it opens up any app extensions, like any photo editing apps you have that work with the photo extensions. So if you don't see any extensions, swipe over and tap more, and then you enable them or activate them. So this is just a time saver because I was opening these in different apps. I really like this Clarity app. Now, this is not great for portraiture. This is terrible for portraiture. See, it makes me look, well, that's not too bad. But if, you know, with wrinkles and stuff, it can be really unattractive. But I love that Clarity app, especially with, I want to show you, like, let me show you one. To get some pictures to pop. I'm trying to think of like a photo where, I don't know, my child's taking selfies. Do you see that? Oh my gosh, what's wrong with her? And then this stuff, I have no idea. This is what happens when you let your kids after your stuff. I can't find a good one. Never mind. But I had like, I took like a selfie, like a progress photo, and the clarity on the Camera Plus app, it really gives some like bright pops in definition. See, that's not great for portraiture. It does not make my face look good. It's not attractive. It's not flattering. But you can see how that, I can simply do that from my phone, and that makes a more eye-catching photo for a lot of non-portrait photos. So is this news to anybody, or is this like, oh, Megan, you know about this?
This is helpful. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
What is your favorite camera app that you like to use when you hit the 3 dots? What should we download? Is it free?
I like Camera Plus. I'm not sure if Camera Plus is. Okay, let me see. There's only a few that are actually in Camera Plus. Pick Tap Go is a good one. Retouch. I don't know if this is free or not. When you go into yours, do you have any that pop up as extensions? I know there, if you go to like, if you Google it, like I did this the other day. I already had so many. You can Google photo app or iPhone app photo extensions or whatever, and it tells you the apps that work with it. So I like this one for, it's not going to work in this photo, but you can actually, like, if you have some awkward stuff in the background, you can, that's kind of distracting. I don't have a lot of photos. Those are videos. I don't want to sit here and waste your time with this stuff, so I can't find something easy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have anything handy to work with. Let's go with this. Okay. It's weird, but you can actually like remove stuff from the background. Let's see if I can remove this object. So I'd take more time to do it, but you know, I would take more time to do it, but there, that's been handy when you have a good photo, but you're like, oh, my background's distracting.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah, that was crazy when I found that.
So what app was that removed that?
You can, yeah.
Retouch?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
But like, I'll use like a Beauty Plus app, but I don't think that's accessible within the app. If I have like, just, you know, just to like soften up some features if my wrinkles and stuff, like shininess is too much, like I'll use those. But from within the app, I really like that Retouch app and the Camera Plus. I want to say when I purchased it, it was like $10, but it's like amazing. Like it has so many features. So it's, you know, totally worth it for me. And it's, but there's so many others that they're free. So I wouldn't even bother. I would go to like that filter one that I just showed you. It was in there. In filter. It's got lots of stuff. I just wasn't as familiar with this, so I didn't mess around with it. But it was free. Okay. All right, let's get out of here. Stop messing around. Oh, fun stuff. Okay, we're just having fun now. Instagram. She also says this: do your best to use the different types of Insta stories. So there's video, there's you talking, there's boomerang, there's type. So if anybody's not familiar with type, they like when you're using their features. They reward you for using their features. So I'm going to, okay, now it wants to freeze. It's freezing. Okay. So this is that type. They like when you use variety. She also says to do your best to spread it out throughout the day, like, or just try not to like just post all at once. You know, that gets you into more feeds too, because it's chronological how things are shown to audiences. So this is something that is fun. Let me type a word. My name. Let's go with that. So I can highlight this, and I can see this little color dropper. You can change the color to anything that's on that screen. So if you have a picture of like an ice cream cone with sprinkles, and there's a special teal, it doesn't matter. It's just, you don't have to stick with that one color. So that's kind of fun thing I've messed around with. There's so much of this stuff that I don't want to like go into, but again, you can seriously Google. Oh, hey, how about that? You can seriously Google these things and find way more fun things to do. But the main thing that I wanted to share today was how we're gonna like create more engagement and create more conversations and get into more inboxes, so that we've started conversations, we've started relationships, we've opened up, we've kind of broken the seal of these people that are following us, looking at our stories, but not actually like talking to us, and we don't even know what to say to them sometimes, which really you can just thank them for liking your stories. I do that all the time, but this is much more fun, much more, I think it might seem more natural for some of you. Whiteogram is great. Somebody said, oh, Camera Plus was $2.99. Great, awesome. Retouch is $1.99. Oh, Lauren says, taking your long post, and if you want to pull content from it, pull into Note, and then just select smaller chunks to use in the type. Cool. And do you know you can also share your posts? So if I wanted to share this post, you see the little, oh, you're not seeing my screen. I'm talking to myself. The little triangle next to the heart in the comment bubble. Did I see it? Let me see, right there. Add post to story. Okay, see my little paint brush at the top? I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna pick a color in my comforter, okay? And now I'm gonna try to color my background. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but because sometimes it colors the whole screen. But to fill a screen, you hold your finger down. Oh, see? Fill the screen in the back. I just held my finger down. Another fun thing I do is I'll take like a white and I'll do the highlighter, and I'll like have a screenshot of something, but I want to highlight. Let me just do something new. Let's just say I take a picture of you guys. This is kind of weird. But I take the paintbrush, whoops, and I do highlighter, and I'll hold my finger down and it fills my whole screen. And I take my eraser and I'll like reveal a certain amount. This is fun for certain things, like if you are taking a screenshot of your Instagram feed and you want to highlight a post. There's lots of different things that you might do with that. So now we're getting crazy because this is just fun stuff. This is not like super business building. It's just fun. So let's look at that creepy like mirror effect. Okay, any questions? Mind blown. Facebook content. Yes, repurposing. This is all repurposing. So some of these things you can just put, you're repurposing and it just looks different. People, and like, again, people necessarily that follow you on Instagram, they may not follow your posts in your stories or see them at the same time. So you really can do that. You're just covering more bases with the same content. Okay. What's the best way to find people who are your people, like people to add? I mean, that's gonna come down to like hashtags, following certain hashtags, and following accounts of people that have similar followers, people that you would like. So this is tough for me, but you know, and Rachel Hollis is a bad example right now because like every Beachbody coach and like every network marketing person's following her. But if you like Rachel Hollis's stuff, you're generally going to connect with her tribe. There are certain influencers that you're into. You're generally going to connect with the people that follow them. Do you know what I mean? So I do that a lot. That's where a lot of my people come from, or certain accounts. I know. Which one, Lauren? You sent me a suggestion. It was called She the Roar. It was a really cool account that just I liked what their message was about. And so I figured anybody who would be following that account, I'd be into. So that is, I just follow a lot of people. And then I unfollow any who don't follow me back because we don't connect. Teresa, where are you following? How are you finding people? Are you doing like I mentioned, are you following influencers followers, or are you just searching certain hashtags? So I might suggest getting a little bit more detailed because you know, I'm MTHFR warrior, or that's kind of similar like Polish girl. Like you might connect with others who are, but like you're going to be different kind of people. So I mean, it might help some level, but you know, that's why I think I've found more success with, and you have a super niche hashtag. Now that could really work for you. But, you know, I've generally found more success with the accounts. Like, okay, Lauren is following smaller niche prenatal postpartum brands for hers. So that's really great. Makes a whole lot of sense, right? Here's a tip. You're going to have less success if you're following followers of an account that's really large. That's why she said smaller probably, because the smaller it is, the more likely that she's going to connect with them. But when they're super large accounts, you're going to have like way more, like it's going to be a way more diluted pool of people. So yeah, think about what you're into. And I know for me, it's hard because I'm not an Instagram and social media consumer so much anymore. Like I just don't use it for my own consumption. I do it for business. And so I don't sit on Instagram and follow influencers and then just sit and watch them. So it took me some time. Sorry, I have timers that tell me to do my journaling. So I had to like really take some time to find these people, because I wasn't naturally doing this. But your followers, like that's who you're trying to find, those people who are, right? So you're going to have to take the time to figure out who's putting out great content that aligns with yours. Don't be like following other coaches' customers. That's not a good idea. I'm never going to be a proponent of that. That's not good business if you ask me. But, you know, those people who align with your thoughts. Okay, I want to let you guys go because it's getting later than I wanted it to be. I did want to mention a couple things before I get off and you guys go get after your follow-ups. I'm starting a book club, something I've been wanting to do, just couldn't figure out how to execute it in the right way, in the right environment. Taking my Miracle Morning, Wake Up to Your Best Self morning routine group, which is a very general group that I opened like a year or so ago, after I did a free 5-day on like morning routine stuff. But it's been open to just anybody. A lot of you are in there. So that's where we're going to do it. If anybody's interested, I think it's already linked. I think the group is already linked in our team page, but we're reading a tribe called Bliss. And so we're doing a new personal development book every month. I'm not making this formal. We're not doing anything like check-ins. I'm not trying to facilitate or manage another thing, but really just to have an environment of people who are all reading the same book at the same time, sharing and discussing ideas. I want it to be organic. I might decide to provide more boundaries if I need to, but right now I just want to have a space where people are all like reading a book together. I know a lot of you start PD books, but you don't finish them. I get it. I've been there. And this is a way to start one and finish it because there's accountability. You see others doing it. And you invite your coaches and challengers, this is a great way to introduce people to this idea of community and personal development. And you might just find some of your best coaches, because I know that I've actually found some great people doing my first Rise and Shine group last year, or whenever I did my first one. I started to find people or have women who were on the verge of seeking something like this in their life, but introducing habits like the morning routine, reading personal development, affirmations, open them up to this possibility of doing something like what we do. So it's really a great way to like start to introduce some of these concepts and things to people in your life, but really just to bless yourself and bless all of us. So yeah, the book is A Tribe Called Bliss. So I'd love to have you in there. I'm going to share one thing in the chat. I want you to grab this link. I'm about to blow your mind for the Instagram users who hate the daggone return, that you can't get a space in between your sentences for the life of you. It's so freaking annoying. So go to that link, make it a home screen button. So just because I'm attached, we're going to do it. Yes, this thing drives me crazy. So I've tried everything, and then you try one thing and then it doesn't work anymore because whatever they've done changes. So I have this link. Where do I have it? I'm not sure where I have this link now. I have it on my, well, I have it here now on my home screen. So I have it now as like an app. If you don't know how to do this, you see that little the little share button at the bottom. If you don't know how to do this, I know most of you know how to do this, but this was not something I inherently knew. Add bookmark. Nope, that's wrong thing, see? It's slide over to add to home screen. So I can change that, and I think I already did. I named it Instagram caption something. So I don't have to look that up every single time. If you have stuff, that's another hack. So that's just right there whenever I have a post. I pretty much draft it in my notes section, and then I draft my posts in my notes section. So I do the social media for my church. So I just did this today. I'm actually about to post this tonight. But I drafted this up here. I'll copy it. I'll copy my post, and then I'll go into here and I'll type it in there. You put it in there, you push convert, and it converts it to whatever format it needs to have those spaces, and it also copies it to your clipboard. So you push that button, done, you go to Instagram, and all your little paragraph breaks, line breaks actually show up, apparently. So you're welcome. Yeah, book club. I want to talk to you guys probably this week about like some ideas for a plan for November and December. I have some ideas on how to leverage Transform 20, how to line up November to kind of set us up for that. I have some ideas I want to share. I just don't want to take more of your time tonight because it's getting kind of late. And but I want you guys to be thinking in that direction. I want you guys to be thinking not just about now, but about what I want you to think strategically about your business and how you can set yourself up. And one of the biggest and most important things you can do is stay super consistent in your journey and your vitals now, because if you want to be that person's go-to, if they don't join you in November, December, on January, when the fruit's low hanging, you have been the person they've seen still showing up, still inviting them, still doing your own thing, still like having results, still being that person who's in November and December committing to something and actually showing, success at that. So be that person, show up, if not any other time, for people now when they need it most, is what I want to get across at this time of year. But hey, you got goals still. Like there's a full over 24 hours to hit them. So go talk to people. Go make it happen. Don't let this month slip you by without like going after it. Who cares? Like if you don't actually make it happen, like know that you did everything you could. Know that. Just know that much at the end of the day. So, all right. I hope you guys were blessed and you weren't just like, oh my gosh, Megan, that was a lot. I hope this gave you some fun stuff to work with. So I'll do a little takeaway post in the group. All right. Good night. Get after it. Love you guys. See you next time.